That's when the UFO started showing up.
Well, that's when the activity certainly heightened. And, yeah, so...
Is there any indication that they were directly connected, other than the fact that they just show up? Was there ever any testimony?
I'll tell you how it organically came upon my attention. I was working with this guy, Lance Mungia. He was one of the editors that was working on the phenomenon with me. And we were doing this archive from this guy named David Marler's got this incredible archive of UFO material dating right back to the 40s all the way to modern day. Newspaper headlines, audio recordings, statements, broadcast, unbelievable. The biggest archive you could spend the rest of your life in there. So he gave me a bunch of stuff that was archive interviews of primarily people at White Sands, Holloman Air Force Base, different areas in Texas. And I was just putting it in. It's kind of like a little montage in the piece of just giving the illustration that these things are going on kind of all over. And my buddy goes, "Hey, man, let's put a map on the wall and put pins in the map for all these different locations." So I was like, "Oh, okay, sure, let's do that." So we put a map on the wall in the edit room when we were doing the phenomenon. And we were putting pins in, and we looked at each other after like a day or two. We were like, "Look at proximity to Trinity Site. Wow. Even Socorro, White Sands, this place in Texas. Like, that's kind of unusual." We're kind of scratching our heads. Do you think there's a correlation? So anyway, we didn't really take it much further than that, but we definitely took notice. And then I met with Senator Harry Reid. Thank you, George Knapp, for helping make that happen. Former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, who started the ATIP program. And during the interview, I didn't think about asking him this, but at the end, and he had like, I'll have 47 minutes with you, and then I got to go. And he's got all the security guards and big guys with earpieces looking at me. And I said, "Well, sir, would you mind if we could do a quick walk and talk?" He goes, "Yeah, I'll give you 45 seconds. So I figured, well, while I'm walking with Senator Reid, I'm going to ask him what was one of the more astonishing aspects of the phenomenon that they uncovered during this Pentagon UFO program. And right away, without hesitation, he goes, "The fact that there are incursions over our nuclear missile facilities, nuclear armed facilities, that is of grave concern." That was a shocking aspect of the phenomenon. And I thought back to that map that we'd done in the edit room. So I was like, I got to go back to the drawing board. So I spent a year. I contacted this guy named Robert Hastings, who's the guy who wrote the book on the connection between UFOs and nukes.
What is the book?
His name is Robert Hastings, UFOs and Nukes, I think. But in any case, I contacted him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not doing too well. I got this heart condition. I tell you what, you can have all my archives, all the videos that I shot." So I went through all of it, and I put together just like a 5 or 10 minute segment in the phenomenon, that connection. And you got all these like missile control launch officers and people at Malmstrom Air Force Base, Minot Air Force Base, talking about these incredible incursions. And keep in mind, you're talking about people that we entrusted with the securement and deployment of nuclear weapons, okay? So if these guys are lying, that's a problem. And if these guys are hallucinating when they've got nuclear weapons at their disposal, that's terrifying. And it's happening all over. I mean, I've got at least 15 or 20 of these guys testifying. And Robert Hastings got a bunch more. My point is, there does seem to be a connection. I interviewed this guy, Robert Salas. Robert Salas was Lieutenant Robert Salas, Launch Control Officer, United States Air Force, has this incredible encounter in Malmstrom, or his people do, and UFO sighted, a disc, and then his nuke starts shutting down. He said to me, I'll never forget this, and this is like 2002, this is part of Out of the Blue. He goes, "Well, James," very calm. You could see why he was a launch control officer, very measured. Everything that came out of his mouth was calm and measured. He goes, "Well, James, the way I see it, it's kind of like taking matches out of the hands of a baby."
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you want some more current Jerry clips, and check out some of these stunning shirts. Link below.